reporting to you live from your butthole. I am in your butt with some hot basketball takes. Please like and subscribe. I've been watching the 1991 NBA Finals with the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Chicago Bulls. If anybody asks me who my greatest player of all time is, I'm always going to say Michael Jordan. I say this just because of all of his legacy. We've all seen all the crazy highlight plays, his stats, 6-0 in the NBA Finals, 6 Finals MVPs, crazy dunks, crazy game winners, and again, just the legacy and the lore of Michael Jordan. Older basketball fans, 40, 50, 60, around that age, that actually got to watch Michael Jordan playing when they were growing up, they'll all tell you that he's the GOAT. There's no one really from that age that's going to try to argue that LeBron James is better or Kobe Bryant's better than Jordan. Everyone that got to watch him just kind of already knows what it is. And like I said before, just off of his legacy, lore, his stats, and all of those type of things, I'd always say, yeah, Michael Jordan's my GOAT, just looking at stats and the highlights. But then I was thinking, you have to actually watch a basketball player's full games to be able to tell who they really are as a basketball player, what they're doing off the ball defensively, offensively, what other intangibles they bring to the game, instead of just looking at scoring, assists, and rebounds, because of course there's so much more that goes into the game than just that. So I'd already watched game 1 of the NBA Finals 1991. They have the full games on YouTube, so you should definitely check them out if you haven't gotten to see them. But I'm on to game 2. Lakers had won game 1, not to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but we're on to game 2. It's about 3 or 4 minutes left in the second quarter. I've already watched pretty much the whole first half, and Michael Jordan is at 2 points and 8 assists. He only took 2 shots, and of course he made one out of his 2 shots. I was remembering there was a game where it was either Jordan or Kobe. They were kind of pouting. They were not taking really any shots in the second half. It actually was Kobe against the Phoenix Suns, but he was trying to make a point just to show he doesn't have a lot of help around him. So I was mixing up those 2 games, and I was thinking, is this the game where Jordan doesn't shoot any shots? Because he only took those 2 shots, and we're about to get into the second half, and I was just thinking, is Jordan sick or something? Like, why is he not shooting the ball? But it was just kind of by design. He was trying to play make for his other teammates, and he did have the 8 assists, so he was making some good plays for his other teammates. First thing, Jordan's playmaking is definitely underrated, just from what I'm seeing in these games so far. It doesn't remind me of Luka Doncic or Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Chris Paul, these more primary playmakers where they just have that great vision, that natural feel for playing basketball. It reminds me more of like a Kobe Bryant, SGA. Not to say that those players are in Jordan's caliber. Of course, Jordan is the gold standard, but just those types of players where you're just so good at scoring. You have so much attention on you. Jordan would take 2 dribbles. He would go up for his jumper. He knows he's not going to shoot it. He's going to pass it down low to Horace Grant, but he goes up, and there's freaking 3, 4 pairs of eyes. Like, everyone's looking at him. Boom, pass it down low to Horace Grant. Boom, kick it out to John Paxson for an open jumper. Not to say he doesn't have good feel and good court vision. Definitely had great court vision, but it's more the gravity he draws as a scorer. He's just such a great scorer that people expect him to shoot the ball when he goes up, and then he just catches them napping and gets a lot of assists off of those late passes. But you have the 2 point and 8 assists going into halftime. It was 3 or 4 minutes left, but at that 3-minute point in the second quarter, he makes probably 3 different shots in a row. He gets a nice lefty layup. He's out on the breakaway, and he pretty much dunks on Byron Scott. He just flies by him and just gets a nasty dunk on the fast break. And then he's up to, I don't know, maybe 8 points and 8 assists going into halftime. So I'm thinking, what's going on with Michael Jordan? I thought he's the GOAT. He only has 6 points, 8 assists, 8 points, 8 assists, whatever it was going into halftime. But going into the third quarter, from that point in the second quarter to the third quarter, even going into the fourth, there's a period where he made 13 shots in a row. So just missing nothing, just and one shots. He's just dunking on anybody, just nasty layups at the rim. It's so weird how he moves, because he reminds me of, again, not saying that SGA is as good as him, because he's definitely not, but it reminds me of how SGA would move, how Kobe would move, because they patented their movement after him, of course, but it would remind me of that, where it's like he doesn't look way faster than people. He's just shifty. He makes the right dribbles. He uses his leverage against people very well. And then once he gets to the rim, he's not a. It's not like he has to bend his knees really low or like power up to do his dunk and jump. He just has like effortless bounce. Just goes up. He's up higher than everybody. He can do whatever he wants. Finish with the left. He can dunk on you. Do whatever he wants at that point. This was the game with the play where he goes up with the right hand to dunk it, and he switches over to his left and just finishes it off. So nice. I'm sure you know the play I'm talking about. I wasn't ready for it because I didn't know it was in this game, but once I saw it during the game, I was like, oh yeah, that's Jordan's legendary play. But anyway, he just completely goes off. The game was close. It was like a 2-point game. Lakers are up 2, Bulls are up 2. It was just going back and forth, and then Jordan just starts going off by like halfway through the third. Later in the third, Bulls were already up 20 points, and the game was basically over. But Michael Jordan finishes the game 33 points, which isn't surprising, and 13 assists. It was playmaking really is underrated, I feel like. Just off these 2 games I've watched so far, I'm going to keep watching the full games to just get a better idea of watching Jordan in full games. And he finishes 15 for 18 from the field, so it's just ridiculous. It's like he's not even, I don't want to say he's not trying hard because I know he is trying hard, but he just makes everything look so easy. It looks effortless for him, and it's just really fun to watch. People also like to act like he didn't have any help, like Jordan's just dragging, I don't want to say a trash squad because it's not by any means, but just dragging not very good players that are just not even close to him, to these finals and winning these finals. And of course, Jordan is the best player by a good margin, but he did have some really good help out there. Horace Grant, one of the big men that plays along with Bill Cartwright for Jordan, he finished with 20 points. He's 10 for 13 from the field. To be fair, a lot of these points came off Jordan assists where he goes in, like I said again, pulls up for his mid-range, fucking 3 people jump out to block it, and he dimes it down to Horace Grant or Bill Cartwright. Cartwright finishes with 12 points on 6 for 9 as well, so it's already 32 points on probably 70% shooting or better for his big men. Cartwright was nice. He'll get into the post. He likes to go left, but he'll get into the post, do that hop step, and pull up for that little mid-range fadeaway right there in the middle of the floor. It reminds me of Kevin Durant, honestly, how his shot looks. He had a really pretty shot for Cartwright. And Scottie Pippen has the 20 points, the 10 assists on 8 for 16. So I mean, if your second fiddle guy is giving you 20 points on 10 assists, 50% shooting, you'll take that all day, especially in a playoff game. If you're a second option guy, and you're able to provide that, I'm sure any first option is going to take 20 points, 10 assists from a second option guy 10 times out of 10, especially in a playoff game. But yeah, I mean, Jordan just really fucking good at basketball, obviously. One thing that was bothering me watching these these early 90s era games, I wouldn't say this bothered me so much, but it's hard to watch, not because of this reason, I'm just bringing it up. The spacing's really crammed, of course. Everyone always talks about it, but really condensed in the paint. No one's posted up outside the 3-point line, like nobody. Everything is going on inside the paint. There's not a lot of movement off ball. If you are moving off ball, it's probably because they set up a play for you to come off a down screen or something and catch the ball, or maybe flare into the post and try to get you a deep post touch. But other than that, people are kind of just kind of stagnant off the ball, and the motion offense wasn't as big of a thing back then, so that's just how they played the basketball. That's not what made it hard to watch for me. What was making it hard to watch for me was there's no live score on the bottom. So there's no like bar with the score. Every once in a while they'll pop up the score every 4 or 5 minutes, whatever it is, after someone scores, and it just pops up Lakers, Bulls, and it shows the scores and it shows how much time there is left. But it takes up like a quarter of the bottom of the screen. It takes up so much room in the bottom of the screen, and it'll actually block off like plays going on. And thank God they invented the score bar. I don't know what they were thinking back then, but it would just pop up the score. It'd be really annoying. It would be in the way and make it hard to see the game. And then another thing that would bother me, you can't see of course, with the score, there's no clock, so you can't see the running clock and see how much time there is left on the shot clock, left in the quarter. And then I try to look up to the actual, the actual clock in the arena, but at that time it was just a front facing, like the screen just facing the players. There's no side clock, so there's nothing you can watch. You can't see, there's no way you can see the shot clock, no way you can see the game clock, except for when they show it to you. So that was making it hard for me to watch, just not knowing the clock. And then the score as well, because there will be times when the Bulls are going on a run, the Lakers are going on a run. For example, the Bulls go on their run, and like, I know they're doing well. Like, I know they're up, and they're kind of kicking the Lakers' ass, but I can't see by how much, because they'll show you the score, you forget it, and they show you again, and then you forget it, and it's hard to stay locked in with what the score is. So that's one thing that would bother me. Bulls are going on a big run. I'm pretty sure the Bulls are up by like 10 points now. They show me the score. It's actually 14, or the game feels like it's getting close. So it must be a single-digit game. It's actually still a 12-point game. So that's one thing that was bothering me, was just how the score was set up and how the clock display was not there for the TV audience. But they obviously got that right. But moving on to Jordan, it was just amazing, honestly. This is only the second finals game I've watched from Michael Jordan as far as watching, the full game, beginning to finish. 33 points, 13 assists on 15 for 18 shooting. It was one of the best performances I've seen of all time in the finals, just with the efficiency. If you're 15 for 18, just in any game, a regular season game, even if you're fucking Shaquille O'Neal and you go 15 for 18, that's really impressive. But to be a shooting guard, a bunch of his shots are coming off of fadeaways, just off of and one jumpers in the mid-range. When he does get to the rim, like I was saying earlier, it's not like he's bending his knees really far and powering up to dunk on someone. He just gets in there. He just jumps with effortless bounce. He can dunk on you if he wants to. Like I said again, he had that switch when he was going to dunk with the right and switch to the left. And he didn't even have to do it. He could have just dunked the ball on that dude, but he just switches to his left just because he's bored, I guess. It just seems like he's so much better than all these other players he's playing, alongside of, and the players he's playing against. And he just was, I guess. I'm going to keep watching these finals games so I can get a better idea of exactly how things would look back in that era when people were watching them live. But, people argue and say, oh yeah, Jordan was just way more skilled than all these players. His era was far less talented than today, and I would agree that today's NBA is more talented just from top to bottom. We just have more skilled players because they grew up watching these skilled players and just put their moves into their bag. I mean, as the game gets older, players just naturally going to be more skilled, but one thing I can't take from that argument, because people just say, oh, Jordan, he was just so much more skilled than everyone in this era with less talent. But it's like, if the era has less talent, anybody can work as hard as Michael Jordan. They can try to be that good. It's not like Magic Johnson and Scottie Pippen and Larry Bird and these other players weren't working hard and trying to be as good as Michael Jordan. Everyone's working hard and trying to be that, but only one guy can be that, and it was Michael Jordan. So I don't really agree with the lack of talent argument. Of course, Jordan was way more talented than these other players, but they all grew up at the same time. They all watched the same players growing up. They probably played in similar, there was no AAU back then. I was going to say AAU circuits, but similar high school competition and college competition. So it's not like, it's not like Jordan was just an alien and they took him from the year 3000 and threw him into 1991 and said, take your futuristic basketball talents and just go out there and kill it. But it's kind of how it seems when you watch him. I'm a Spurs fan, just to finish things off. Kobe was my favorite player growing up, just as far as watching somebody play and just having an aesthetically pleasing style as far as the crazy fadeaway jumpers and flashy dunks and things like that. But I never have tried to make the argument that Kobe or LeBron is more talented or had a better career than Jordan. Off the numbers, I can't make that argument. And as I'm watching these full Michael Jordan playoff performances, it's becoming more and more clear why he's the GOAT and just how crazy it must have been to watch these games live when it was actually happening. But Please like and subscribe. Please let me know what you think about Jordan, and we'll see y'all next time.